Hi everyone, welcome to Late Night Snack. I'm Allison Kinnear with Voice of Her Own, and I want to start off with an apology because for those of you who normally tune in at 9 o'clock, it is a whole hour later, and that is because tonight I was wrapping things up with the Back to Her Roots Motherhood Project that I have been a part of for this past year. For the past 6 months, there's been this amazing group of women. We have convened usually outside in nature to kind of return to ourselves and reconnect not only with ourselves and motherhood, but also to open our world up to a different way of approaching motherhood and parenting and connecting with our children. So that's what I was doing. It was our final meeting and it was just amazing, and I needed to be there to devote the time to it. So anyway, for those of you who are new to Late Night Snack, it is a time when I just talk about parenting and self-care, leadership, and life. And even though I've been talking about imposter syndrome, today I really wanted to talk about back to school, because I don't know about you, but my Facebook feed is just full of beautiful children, some young, some old, who are going back to school. Or going to school for the first time. And some of the school might be college, some of it might be kindergarten, everything in between, right? And what has really struck me, not only for myself as a mom of two children about to go to school, a third grader and a kindergartner, is that behind those smiling or sometimes not smiling faces, there may be a parent who has their own set of emotions. You know, I asked my son, who's about to start kindergarten, I said, how do you feel about going to school and going to kindergarten? And he said, I feel scared and excited. And I was like, yeah, I get that, right? And I think that's how most people feel on their first day of school. A little bit scared, a little bit excited. And I think about all the parents who are writing things like, stop growing up. Oh my gosh, I can't believe that my child is this age or that age. And when I think going along the same lines as this, I watched, for those of you who don't know the Holderness family, they got kind of famous with their Christmas Jammies viral YouTube video, and they make these parodies, these songs about life and about kids and family and just different things, and it's really clever and really fun to watch. And they just released a video this week called something like a one arm butt sticking out hug, and it talks about their older daughter who now, instead of giving like a great big hug to her dad, just does these like little like awkward one arm hugs. And I watched the video by myself for the first time, and I watched it and I just like cried. I just cried and cried and cried, because it's all about, you know, your kids growing up, your kids hitting that next stage in development, your kids wanting more independence. And even though my kids aren't at that age, there was just something really, really profound, something really touching about seeing, just knowing that's coming my way, and that things change. They don't stay the same. Our kids will grow up and they will change and they'll become something new, and there's something really exciting about that. And there's also a loss. There's a loss of the familiar. There's a loss of the time that we currently have with them. And it was interesting because I played the same video for my kids because they're always excited to see the next new Holderness family video. And so I played the song for my kids, and I told them beforehand, I said, you know, I watched it and I just cried. And they said, why did you cry? And I said, oh, I don't know. There was something about it that just made me feel a little sad. And they watched the video And they laughed. They laughed and laughed and laughed and laughed. They thought the whole thing was just hilarious. And even afterwards, they were pretending that one of them was the dad and the other one was giving like the awkward hugs. And it just showed me that my experience of my kids growing up is really, really different than their experience of being a kid who's growing up. And that's totally okay. That the things that are going to crack them up and make them think is really fun and funny is the exact same thing that might like make me break down in tears. And I think what's interesting too about all these changes, all these transitions that are happening, is that these two feelings that can feel so opposite, just like what my son was saying about being scared and being excited, that the two things can coexist at the same time. And as a parent, when I think about my kids getting on the school bus next week, there's a part of me that is just like elated. There's a part of me that's feeling a lot of relief to get back into a routine. And there's a part of me that's like in deep, deep grief. Like, true confession, I met my son's kindergarten teacher today, and I like cried during our little conference because it's just like a big change. There's something big about it. There's a bigness, there's like a significance in this change. This time of year when our kids kind of hit that next level. And those two feelings of feeling elated and relieved and feeling mourning and grief and loss, those two things can coexist at the same time. And so part of my job and part of the thing that I would encourage you to do if you have these conflicting feelings existing at the same time is to give yourself a lot of space to feel both of those things. And to remember gratitude. Gratitude is such a gift to us during these times of change, during these times of transition. And the other thing that I offer to you, and I take my own advice on this, I give myself space, I practice gratitude, and I also try to remember to be gentle on myself. It's not the time to be really like, oh, you should be a better momming myself. Like, that is not this is not the time. This is the time to just breathe and be with what is. So that's what I leave you with tonight for tonight's late night snack. Again, apologies for it coming an hour late. I know, Emma, you were going to tune in from Australia. I see one person's tuned in, but I can't. Can I see who it is? No, I can't see who it is unless you comment. And I'm sorry, I'm not seeing the comments. But I saw a couple of people popping on. I'm just grateful that you did. It's so late. And thank you for being patient with me. And yeah, I will see you next week. And I wish you a full night of uninterrupted sleep tonight and always. Have a beautiful, beautiful evening. Take care.